Hey, happy Training Tuesday. Excited to be with you here today as we dive in to how to use word of mouth referrals to grow your business. If we've not met before, my name is Jessica Phillips with Relationship Marketing System and Now Marketing Group. I'm an awesome co-host as always, Mike Gingrich. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular app Waftio, tab site, published author extraordinaire, actually keeps adding to that list of authorship, which I'll have him tell you about here in just a moment. But before we dive in, if you would share this out, give it a like, let us know that you're here as we start our Training Tuesday Magnet Marketers topic on how to use word of mouth referrals to grow your business. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hey, Jessica's doing well and glad to be here today. Glad to be talking about this topic. And yeah, it's a good Training Tuesday.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites because it goes back to relationship marketing, of course. And one of the things that we believe in at Now Marketing Group, or we've never had a sales rep, we rely on word of mouth referrals. This is our livelihood and something that I think more businesses can use and adapt if they're not in a place to hire a sales rep, or even if they do have a sales rep, how to make that sales rep's job easier. So I'm just going to share some best practices and things that we have done here internally and things that I've seen their clients do that hopefully will help some other companies out. But before we dive into that first topic, I want to share this out one. And while I do that, I want you to talk about your exciting news, another book to add to your repertoire.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
All right. Yes. So I just got my first shipment in from Amazon yesterday, and the book title that I've been working on, this was about a 10-month project along the way. Lots of little increments of 30 minutes here and there kind of things. And it's titled Making the Miles Count. All right, so you guys know that I do a lot of running, triathlons, the endurance kind of things. So I use that thematically to talk about life. Okay, making the miles count is making your life count. And one of the things that I feel like I see a lot that I've experienced in my life and that really shifted for me a few years ago was the challenge to see the opportunity to not just go through life and succumb to the daily grind. So this is a book that says, make the miles count is to make your life count. It's to how to rise above and live beyond the daily grind. I break it down into 21 days. Basically, I'm saying you can form a habit in 21 days, and we all need to kind of take stock, evaluate, and take some challenges and take some risk. And so I lay those out and encourage people to do those, tell some stories from my life and map some things out and give a challenge at each stop along the way. There's 21 of that in there in the book. And my thought is that when people get done, they can kind of see the journey that I've been on, and they will have some tools that can help them live beyond the daily grind. That's what it's all about, that we can live a rich life, and that a rich life is going to leave an impact. It's going to leave a positive impact. So that's what it's about, and it just feels good to have it out there on Amazon in paperback and ebook version right now. So yeah, excited about that.
Congratulations. Like, just another amazing book to add, like I said, to your repertoire. I'm going to have to check it out for sure. I will be buying that. Your books have never disappointed. Excited. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, fourth one. It's amazing. You would have told me that 4 years ago. I said no way, but I kind of got some rhythm there. So
meanwhile, like 4 years and still 4 chapters written on this one. So I don't know. I need your dedication or something. But anyway, word of mouth referrals is the topic of what we're talking about today. And it is a big topic. I pulled this stat. It said word of mouth is more important than ever than online oriented society because reviews are available and people do check it out. Nearly 9 out of 10 customers read online reviews. So even if they're not talking person to person, they're checking out your brand. 60% of the buying cycle is over before somebody even talks to a representative of your company. Meanwhile, they're on this journey. They're searching what is the best decision because nobody wants to look like an idiot when it comes to making a choice of one brand or over another. So how do you build that up? How do you encourage people to feel confident they're making the best choice in you? whether that comes from reading online reviews or whether that comes from, hey, a person advocating for you if they hear someone else have the problem. Both of those I constitute as word of mouth referrals because it is somebody else giving their best recommendation to you, to a friend, a colleague.
Yep. Yeah, and I thought the research you did on this that you outlined here, this was a study done by Bright Local, and the details there that 9 out of 10 consumers read online reviews of local businesses. I mean, that's 90%. That's huge. And 72% of consumers said they use positive reviews to determine whether a business was trustworthy. So this is backed up by data, backed up by research that this is important. We wouldn't be talking about it if it was just an opinion out there, but this is a fact there. And I just had one today where I had a customer, a client of ours, and they contacted me and said, hey, I got a bad Google review. Okay, so this is kind of the opposite side of the word of mouth, bad word, and I said, well, what happened? And he said, it is legit. He said, somebody contacted us, my sales rep failed to follow up on that one. And he said, I went back and I saw it. I saw when it came in and we just missed it. And they wrote about it, online. And I said, all right. He's like, what do I do? And I was like, all right, well, I said, number one, they control that review. You don't. And number two, you can respond to that. So I said, I mean, it's going to be out there. You might as well legitimately say, hey, messed up on that, and missed that. Really, thank you for making this other contact just so we're alerted to it, want to follow up with this, would do anything to take that call and kind of get restarted if we can. I said, you can leave it at that. I said, then personally, I said, you're going to try to reach out to them. You've got their contact information and you're going to try to turn that negative into a positive and, make some applesauce out of some sour apples there, hopefully. And then I said, down the pike, I said, if you can, honor that person, swing that well, contribute in a positive way, and it does turn into a positive, then I said, you can always encourage them and say, hey, I know we started out rough and you wrote about that. Would you mind even giving an update on that and just say where we're at now?
Exactly. Yeah. I love the Everwise Jay Bear and his book, Hug Your Haters. And he talks a lot about reviews, and he makes a brilliant point in which I pass along to every client that we deal with when they're always freaking out about reviews, and almost to the point where they don't even get on social because they're like, what if somebody leaves a bad review? And I quote Jay and I say, it's not the people that leave a bad review that you need to worry about. It's the people that don't give you that opportunity and don't say anything at all. You want those reviews because, as you mentioned, it gives you an opportunity to reply back. It gives you an opportunity to make it right. Here's some feedback and some things internally that maybe you need to do different or can adjust within your team or with your process, with your service, whatever it is, to make it right and to have better customer experiences. But everybody's seeing this publicly. So people are going to talk online, whether you're part of the conversation or not. This gives you an opportunity to at least be part of the conversation and turn that negative, hopefully, into a positive, or at least give people that are reading the reviews the opportunity to see how you handle a negative situation. Do you rebuttal it? Do you try to hide it? Do you try to bury it? What do you do? Because then, you get a sense of the kind of company that you're going to be working with. But I am with them and in the study, I look at companies to see what kind of experience am I going to be getting. I want to see if they're responding to the reviews, if they're checking it out. And this is a huge opportunity now, especially with Google and all they're doing with Google Maps. We've talked about this past few weeks. They're putting that front and center, not just your Google reviews, but your Facebook reviews and all your online reviews right there next to the business listing to give people, hey, here's not only the ones that are closest to you, but here's the ones that are rated really well. So reviews definitely have to be something that you're focusing on. But even more important than that, being the brand that you are, if you're trying to get people to want to talk about you and even come to your rescue. I've seen before where somebody may have left a negative review on a company page. We have a chain of car washes that we deal with here locally, and one person had went on there. They have a super active tribe of people that love their brand because they are really that good. But when somebody is left a negative review, I mean, before they can even sometimes comment back, their tribe is there, like giving the feedback for them, like, hey, this person left a review that the bugs did not come off of their truck, right? And this was in summer, and they're like, well, how long did you leave a cake on there? You realize you have to soak it. No, automated car wash is going to do blah, 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 blah. And coming to their defense and their rescue, because this brand has stood up and been their brand. They're not some disengaged company that people don't get a sense of who they truly are. I feel like in order to get word of mouth referrals, the biggest thing that you can do is first be a solid brand where people get a sense of who you are at your core, where your brand is your product, not your product or your service is your product. Like, your brand is the thing that people are buying into. So they have to get a sense of the personality that you are, and you can't be wishy-washy. You have to stand for something, stand against other somethings, and really put this tone of voice of who you are, both in-person experiences and online, so people can feel like they're getting to know you and want to send more people your way, because they feel like the brand is a friend. The brand is somebody that they can know, like, trust. And then my favorite part, refer, like that KLTR at the end, because if they refer you, that means they love you. They're willing to put their name at stake and say, I feel confident to refer you to someone else, not just do business with you.
Yep. No, and I that was just a wonderful story, because I think it's just so awesome when you have such a committed tribe, as you called them, that of clientele that basically supports you and that is there for you and basically has your back. I mean, that's a tremendous spot to be in as a business.
Yeah, and this can go both ways. I know people are afraid to kind of do anything controversy, but if any headline has taught us something in the past couple months, it's been Nike and what they did with their ad campaign. So they backed someone that was a little bit controversial in a lot of people's mind because of their their take on kneeling during the anthem, and it's kind of a people divided on the issue, right? And just their whole stance overall. But the person that they picked, they went all in on with their whole marketing campaign. Super risky move, and something you would not necessarily see national brands doing. Everybody tries to play it vanilla, keep everybody happy, and everybody play nice in the sandbox. But when you do that, you don't stand apart, because people don't know who you are and how you stand on issues, and people want to support brands that they feel that speak something about them when you buy into it, if that makes sense. So like, when somebody buys a Mac, or an Apple device, it says something about them. The people that buy Harley, it says something about them. That comes part of their identity. And that's why those brands are also logos that you would see tattooed sometimes on people, because they're so confident and connected to this company. So Nike took a brilliant move, even though there were still people burning their shoes and socks and everything in the streets. Their stocks rose up and their fans became more committed than ever, because people want to feel connected to the brand. Actually, even coming from HubSpot's inbound conference, they said 88% of customers want to build a relationship with a brand before purchasing with them. And it's even more important with this next generation. The next generation is buying into companies that they believe that are aligned with their beliefs. Like that it says something about them.
Yeah. So that goes deeper. I mean, so that's that's a real alignment of purpose, of values, and that's beyond just the simple product or service. I mean, in this case, with Nike, we're talking about a apparel, shoes and apparel and gear, and yet what sparks this and sparked the rallying around them again was value, was related, was justice kind of related in that sense.
Yeah. So the very first thing people think, okay, if I just do what I say that I'm going to do, people will refer me. They have to remember, you have to be connected to them. If they're willing to put their name on the line and refer you to their best friend, their colleague, their mother, somebody else that's going to come back to them, they have to really trust and believe in you, or else they're not going to have an opinion at all. They may throw out a couple names or throw out a name in the hat. But if you really, truly want this to shift, where you're getting this word of mouth, the very first thing that you have to do is be committed to a brand identity that people can relate to and feel that they know who you are, and your brand is your product before anything else. So it's not just, based on price or, locale or whatever. What would people go to links? What links would they go to support your brand because they feel connected to it? So making sure you have a brand identity is definitely the first thing that you can do to grow this.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, I think that's, people can underestimate that, but you do have a brand, whether you are working at it or not. So in essence, you should take some time to go after that with intentionality, because it is apparent. There's going to be a perception of, your culture, of who you are, regardless of your intentionality about that or not, just by the way you're doing business.
Yes.
So therefore, it is, important to be able to take that seriously.
And you said the culture word, the C word, that's what it is. So it's more than just having like the logo, and we have our tagline, and we have this nice mission statement and a great about us that speaks to who we are. We're all proud when we gather around our team meetings and talk about our mission, our statement, our vision, whatever. But it goes deeper than that. It's the people that you hire, then you have to go back to that on. It's how you're treating your customers that go back, it's what you put out on social. Everything that you say and do, and who you have doing it for you, and every decision you make goes back into who your brand is. I love the quote, and I don't remember who said it, but your brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. So what would people say about you when you leave the room? Yep. Everything goes back into that. So definitely that's my number one tip. And that's something that we always preach here internally. That's something that there's like a zero tolerance policy on, on some of the things that we're like, this is who we are and this is what we stand for. And that's what, a lot of the team members then have the ability to make decisions on what would now do's behalf, right? Where they don't feel like they have to go up the chain and get approval and all that, but they know how and what we stand for, and just making good decisions. So that's something that definitely has to be taken into consideration first and foremost.
Yes. All right. I mean, so let's carry on. And I think a second one then, if you want to help your business with that, and kind of establish this ability for word of mouth to be taken seriously, word of mouth to be positive, is to be the leader of the pack, be out in the forefront, be leading edge, cutting edge, and and that doesn't mean just kind of being the kind of burning edge of innovation, but it means being the best at what you do and offering the best, richest experience within that to set yourself apart. So I know that you take this seriously with Now Marketing Group, so I'm going to let you speak to that a little bit, just kind of, add on to that and from your experience there.
Yes. If we just shifted our mindset to think, instead of trying to get a new customer, what if we just tried to keep a customer for life, and someone that would be willing to refer us to their friend or their colleague? I think it changes the way that we think about customer service and sales in general. And being the leader of the pack means treating your current customers like VIPs, and everything that you're doing with them, what would make them want to talk about you? What if you worked that relationship to really create this bond for life, that your whole focus, instead of thinking about new sales, because then when you think about new sales, you're almost looking away from your customers, I feel like, and to somebody else to try to entertain them, right? But what if you could think about growing your own family, with the customers that you have now, and be the leader of the pack of doing it better than anyone else? If you're like, I'm really just going to treat my customers, have the easiest process for them to do business with us online. So everything that I'm investing in for what I'm doing online is to make a process easier, a process smoother for them, a process that is making them feel like VIPs, and really staying in direct contact with our customers and letting our customers be our sales team for us. What would you have to empower them with, both online and offline? What would you have to empower your current customer base with in order to be your sales rep for you? What kind of things would you have to have? And if you can think about it from that sense, you can say, okay, I would need to have like these resources online. I would need to answer these questions online. I would need to have this process online for them to be able to get to it easily, available. I'd have to have a rep that's checking in with them, checking the possible. I would have to have, these latest updates available for a product or service. But how would that shift your mindset? But if you think, I want to be the very best at what we do and have our customers say so, that's the second step of being the leader of the pack.
Yep. No, I like that one, and I think that one really has some merit and value just to be thinking about. And the VIP experience, again, that's a differentiator, again, because there's going to be competitors, there's going to be competition, there's going to be people that have quality products, but can you wrap that in a experience that sets things apart, that really helps them identify with you and want to stay with you?
Yeah. And I can give you an example of this. Okay. So for example, we work with clients and we try to help them with their local search, right? And we know that in order to do that, there's local directory listings that they would need to update frequently. So we've partnered with Yext, right? Yext is the tool, I've talked about it on here before, where you can go online, you can update your listing once, and it automatically, syndicates all that information and updates it easily online across all these local directory listings. Well, Yext knows that people like us are doing this for our clients. So not only do they have this tool, and not only are they trying to search out for other clients and just market to them, but they contact us and they say, okay, what do you need on your website? Do you need a scan tool so business can see what it looks like? Here's some videos if you want to get certified to do this for us. Here's some swag even that they're sending us, to promote their product. Here's some coupon codes that you can give your customers. They're in constant contact with us because they know that we are a driving force around bringing in more clients. And we, it's not a moneymaker for us. It is a value add for our clients. But for Yext's perspective, it's now they're not needing to do necessarily as much of the work, or their work is done in a different way that could be more maximized now, because now instead of one person trying to go out and get one-off sales, they can just work with agencies and whomever else and have them do that. So whether that's, think of in your industry, who is your audience? What are you offering? And who could you empower that could then be that driving force of leads or sales for you? If you have a product or service that maybe somebody else is needing to provide to someone else, what could you provide them as resources on your website, or, as far as direct contact with, that is going to empower them to be able to do their job smarter and better, so they can refer more business to you.
Good. Yep. I like that one. Do you want to dive into the next one?
Yeah. Being proactive. So, this is the hardest one to remember, honestly. Like the other two are definitely serious hard, but this one is kind of so much in your face sometimes that you don't remember it. So how many times have you been on the phone with someone and they're like, thank you so much for doing this for me. This really helped me do X, right? And you're like, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I love doing this. But then that's all it happened. That's all that happens. That's the end of that conversation, right? Like, what if you already had something proactively on your website that said, oh my God, thank you so much. Would you be willing to put this here? Or would you be willing to let me share that with, a story? Or would you be willing to do a video testimonial? Like, being proactive and being ready, if you've done all the work that we've talked about so far, being ready and having the tools available to collect the referrals, to collect those testimonials, to encourage them, and to be able to then be able to share them on afterward.
Yep. No, I think absolutely. Being proactive. It's so often, that we receive the compliment and it's spoken, to us word of mouth right there, and we're not, cognizant of, wow, I should capture that. I mean, wow, can we make a little video about that? Those type of things. So you almost have to establish a routine of a process for that, so that you can be aware of those when they occur, and hopefully they're occurring regularly enough that you get into a routine of doing those pieces, so it becomes a natural part of your business. But you cannot take that for granted. That's just something that you gotta be aware of, take seriously, make it happen.
And have, yeah, like you said, a process. That's a great word for it, because I'll give you another example. So somebody had put online about being able to do cleanup after a heavy rain, right? And I had water flooding in my house a while ago, made a comment on social about how they repaired it, this local contracting company, and did a great job. I made a comment on social there. And then they ended up getting a referral based upon my comment. So lo and behold, then this company reached out to me, sent me a $200 gift card. If I wasn't incentivized before already because I was happy with their service, now I'm remembering, though, to say it more and more. So it wasn't like, hey, refer us and get a $200 gift card. It was, you gave us a referral, we're giving you a $200 gift card. There's a difference, right? So if people feel like they're getting rewarded to give a referral, it may not feel as genuine or authentic. Not always, but in this case, it was incentivized after the fact, and I've sent them several more referrals. And every time they have a process where they're sending you like this $200 gift card. It doesn't have to be a $200 gift card in your business. We send cards to people, or a sugar wish or something like that, but saying thank you for the referral. So if you already have a process and you're being proactive in place, so maybe it's a survey that goes out after you've completed something to first find out how you did, make sure that you've delighted that person. But then if they refer someone else to you, having a process in place to then thank them for that, thank them for their time and for giving you that referral.
Nope, I like that. Yeah. Very good stuff. But again, it's taking down to a process. It's thinking through the components of that, so that you're ready for it, and that you're maximizing that. That's just what for your business to be able to do that, because again, word of mouth is one to many, and so you're receiving that. That one word to you, you're trying to say, wow, that's wonderful. Are there ways that we can be prepared, that we can maximize that, and that we can get that, testimonial, we can get that video clip, we can get that, on the website, those types of pieces, so that it goes out broader.
Absolutely. And next one, you ready?
Yes. I think the next one is critical, especially today, and just because businesses are much more front and center with social media. The people know who you are, they hear your voice, that type of thing. So be known in your space. You want to be a thought leader. You want to be an industry leader. You want to be resourcing people in your space, about your space, what it is, so that they're not going to remember necessarily what you said, but how you made them feel. So what are the value adds that you can do to be known in your space, real people doing real things. And I'm just going to give you a quick little example right here with our own Jessica, and that is, I've seen it now just from being a part of Social Media Week Lima for multiple years. And what you've done with the bobbleheads, just think of how that has impacted the speakers who have been there, and how they have, it did exactly that. It was something that helped you in a positive way be known in the social media space because of the way you made those speakers feel. And so the way you touched them with a personalized gift to them that was different, that was unique. And so that was hopefully people can get a hold of that example. So there's something you're offering. You're typically going to give a speaker something for their contribution to come be at your conference and speak. And so this was something that went beyond and was different and had meaning and value that was lasting. And people would share about that. I mean, I can remember. I mean, how many of these I have seen online in videos. Brian Fanzo and just others. Mia has hers on, and all kinds of people that have shared theirs. So that's just one example. I'll let you speak more examples there.
No, that's a great example. But what is it that you can do to add value, stand out, be different, be unique, that is going to make you known in your space? Think
Yeah.
outside the box, be creative with it. The gift cards are a great idea, like I said, to incentivize people. But what could you do that's even more unique, that maybe it doesn't even have to cost as much, but it's just super special? So how I got started, like with Now Marketing Group, for example, I didn't have a budget. I had social media. I could drink my own Kool-Aid and use social, but I realized, it's a long game. So I started offering free training seminars. This was before the day of live video in my community, just free training, not asking for anything in return. But because of that, it would get a lead from there because people got to understand me, and it was something unique that I wasn't charging for this kind of thing, right? I was just offering value. From there, I would get a lead, then I would refer on to another one and this another one, and still today offering free trainings, right? Because this is a way of adding value that is going to help us be known in this space for being that kind of brand, right?
Yep.
Wanting to give and do those things first. So what does that look like in your industry? Whether that's investing in video and doing great video that is educational or edutainment, entertaining, whatever, for your industry. But what is that one thing that's going to accelerate you in your space and allow people to really keep your brand top of mind for what it is that you do? Make sure, that just to pick something. It doesn't have to be anything super expensive, but just something that you can do for your brand.
There you go. Yep.
The last one is being the connector. Okay. So being a connector in your space means that you purposefully look for other ways of continuing to add value to your customer and your clients' lives by connecting them to other people that you would then recommend in your space. So what does that look like for your brand? So for example, if there was some elaborate, e-commerce things that we were looking at, and I'm asking Mike and his team, like, hey, maybe we need to refer some people over to you. I just had a call with Owen Video a couple of days ago and closed a lead for him today because his strategy with what he was doing in his space, I had a client that needed that and reached out to Owen to do that. Be known as the connector,
Yep.
Always introducing people that could have a mutually beneficial relationship, because then that's going to make them feel good about it. And also you feel good about it. And they're going to remember how you made them feel and then think about you when an opportunity comes up.
No, excellent. I think that's a key, that just the ways that you can see relationships between other businesses, and you can say, we're working with this client and I know what they do. And then this client comes to you, or this prospective client, and they have a need and they're talking to you about your need, but you're seeing some potential there, and you connect those two together. And so there's some synergies there that can really make a difference. And I mean, businesses love to have that kind of connection happen when there's somebody we're all looking for those positive win-win kind of client relationships. And when someone is bringing that to us, or being a connector and helping that happen, and making that smooth and greasing that process, that's just wonderful.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter your industry. I mean, I'm talking like restaurants, for example. If they have a catering side of their business, and maybe one of the people that they serve is, the wedding industry, then what if they had a roster of all, who to hire for a DJ, where to go for, the actual event, and really making this super easy. One, like I said, you're making accessible things on your website, super easy and seamless. People are going to then refer back to that. And now you're building relationships with others. It does not matter your industry. You just have to figure out the problem that you're going to solve better than anyone else, that's going to make people find your brand valuable, helpful, and likable, to where they're going to want to refer more people to you.
Yes, thanks. Absolutely. Yep. I'm just curious. I don't know if there's anyone that has any, stories themselves, or any feedback that way, things that, they've experienced along the way. We're definitely open to that. But, those are some key things. When we talk about word of mouth, I think that it's still the most powerful and the really most cost effective marketing piece tool that's out there, is just to be able to do something right, do something well enough, do something uniquely enough to make an impact. Jessica, it's funny because I'm finding myself kind of repeating phrases from my book,
Yeah.
making the miles count, so
Yeah.
there's parallels here between what you do in your personal life and in your business life. But doing those kind of right things leaves a lasting impact and can really
Absolutely.
help others want to talk about you and share what you can do with others.
It's the best source of leads that you can ever get. And if people think it takes a lot more time, it doesn't. If you seriously, like you said, just doing things right, building from the foundation, internal, making the in-person experience fantastic, people are going to want to talk about it, and doing it, just growing it out from there. People are going, it's sooner or later, even though it feels like a long-term game, it's going to shift to where now everything's coming internal to you, and you don't have to feel like you're reaching out as much trying to look for things, and always trying to be buying your attention, because it's permission based. Now you're having permission that you've gained people's attention, and they want to send people your way. They feel good about it, and they're trusting you, and they want to refer you on, and they're going to stick with you longer. Every time we interview clients, we ask them where they're getting their leads and their best leads. Every time it's word of mouth, but we don't always think of marketing as trying to maximize this. It's always like, what can I do to shout out my message? So, I challenge companies to think about, how can you use the tools that you have today to really focus on just gaining more word of mouth referrals? That's it.
There we go. Hopefully that's been helpful to folks, just talking about word of mouth, what you can do, some of the things you're probably doing some already. Hopefully we gave you some new ideas. Maybe you need to kind of sharpen some areas as you think about that. And so that's what it's all about, is, taking a look at, where you're at, how do you move forward from here? How do you sharpen what you can and do in that process?
Yeah, and don't overlook the review section. Just the last tip on here before we wrap it up, just make sure, like as Mike mentioned early on with the reviews, that you have access to those and you know where those are. So start with Google. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I'll even post a link in here to going over Google My Business to get access to that, and then checking out your Facebook ones and Googling your own company every now and then to see what else is being said about you online, to make sure that you are following up with those areas, and or participating in other conversations where people are asking questions related to your industry. That will definitely help get you some of those referrals as well.
That's a good point. Yep. Good stuff.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike, for your time each week. My daughter will be excited. I won't be rushing her to dance class today. That we actually have 5 minutes to breathe in between that and this year. She's going there at 5 o'clock at night. So I'm like, okay, boom, 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 be ready to go. Tap shoes on, go. Yeah.
There you go. You got the space. Good.
Yeah. But thank you for joining in with us. As Mike said, I hope this was valuable for you. Share some lessons that you have or what you're using to grow your word of mouth referrals. I'd love to hear from you. If you have not already, you can go to magnetmarketers.com. You can sign up to find out what we'll be talking about next week. We're here every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with our goal always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate you as always. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, folks. Take care. See you, Jessica.
Yeah.